There's some folks that have different opinions on this, but it is an issue that we have to tackle. It does not seem the political will is there right now to tackle it in a really substantive and humane way. But I commit to you that I will examine this issue more.
Larry, you just please. I got to break in here.
Go ahead.
Please don't ever stop doing what you did. You said something that any politician should say. You said, "I don't know, and I will find out."
Right. All right.
You did not try to BS us.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and
Right.
this is the character that this man has.
All right.
Yes, John. Thank you.
You.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 60 Minutes had on a couple of months ago the fact that you talked about the budget and how much is being spent by the Pentagon and everything.
Right.
And there seems to be some simple solution. Because 60 Minutes had the fact that there were a number of defense contractors, thousands of other defense contractors.
Right.
And therefore, for a piece of equipment that costs $300, they're charging the U.S. government $3,000.
Yes.
It would seem that, but I don't hear Congress talking about that. And it would seem to be an easy solution to reduce the budget, but by still supporting the military with its needs by dealing with that situation. Is that something that you would be interested in taking on?
Absolutely. We cannot, the level of spending that we have on the military is not sustainable. We cannot continue to increase the military budget at the rate we are increasing. Because at some point, we're not going to have enough money to do the other things that need to be done for the people. I don't know how many people found or saw this in the newspapers, but the Pentagon can't pass an audit. They just failed their most, did you see this? They just failed their most recent audit. They can't identify where half their assets are around the world. Trillions of dollars of assets, not a billion, trillions of dollars of assets. They can't identify. And I don't want to put on my conspiratorial hat, but you know 9/11 happened like the week that Cheney announced that they couldn't locate so many billions of dollars in the military budget. Remember that? He actually announced it. He had a press conference. And then like several days later, 9/11, and then everybody forgot about it. No. Some Congress people have already put forward bills to cut the military budget. But we have to get enough members in Congress to make that happen. And one of the ways to make this happen is to make a law, make it illegal for Congress people to trade stock while they're in office.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of them, well, most of them are already millionaires. You know we have a millionaire Senate and a millionaire Congress. The majority of people who represent us are millionaires.
Inside the tree.
And some of them, and more people are billionaires in elected office now than ever before in the history of the country. This is a problem, right? How can you get a federal government budget and policies that are going to help working people if all the people in Congress are the bosses? Or all the people in Congress are the major shareholders? But one of the things we should do, this is one of the things I think we should do, is make it illegal. While you're in office, you can't trade stock. Because they're privy to information that you and I are not privy to. So as soon as they see this, they're like running out. Yeah, we getting ready to bomb Gaza. We getting ready to sell Israel bunker butter. Let me call Raytheon. Let me sell my stock in Boeing and buy Raytheon. Or one of these other armed manufacturers. So we should make it illegal for them. Yes, Charles.
There's one word, Apple, vote Apple. Not just to you, but to everybody in the room. How many young people are here today? So the question is, as somebody said better than myself, more young people will stand in line all night long for a new iPhone than to stand in line to vote. So I guess the question is to not just ask you, but everybody here, how do we get this room filled up with young people? That's gonna be the challenge, I think, right?
It is a challenge.
Because the young people always change everything.
That's right. It is a challenge, and we recognize the need to get more young people involved, and I hope you'll help me
Yeah.
in doing that. You know, when we talk to the young people, don't talk mean to them. You know, don't beat them down. They won't come around if you beat them down. But tell them that they're needed. You know, no, we gotta get more young people in this campaign. You know, that's why I got John here. To help me get more young folks. Yes, John, and what's your name? Joyce. John and Joyce. Go ahead, John.
Yes, I just want to talk about the nurses strike.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they've been on strike for 123 days. There's a tentative agreement, so they start to vote on it. So I just want to hear your response on that.
I support the nurses at RWJ. I marched on the picket line with them this summer. I was down there before they put the injunction in that they couldn't picket in front of the hospital anymore. They have to go to the church now. Across the street. Yeah, I think I was at the last big rally this summer before that injunction came down that said they couldn't stand. But I support the nurses. POP, the organization which I have been the chairman of for the last 40 years, we have always supported people struggle for quality health care and supported. How many people remember Children's Hospital in Newark, Presbyterian? Presbyterian closed down, I believe, in 1975 or 76. That year, John, the nurses were fighting for a contract then. I was in Princeton, and I got a call to come and meet with those nurses and was asked to do what I could to get support from them. So I supported nurses back in 1975. I'm supporting nurses in 2023. I spoke at the rally that the nurses at Claramas had this summer. We walked a picket line with I say we, members of the People's Organization for Progress and myself, we walked the picket line at St. Michael's Hospital. So we support the struggle. I support labor struggles in general and will continue to support them because working people are not making enough money. We need more money to live. And that's how you improve your quality of life. But beyond the nurses, you know, one of the things that I will try to do when I get to the Senate is I want to formulate some legislation to prevent closures of hospitals in the United States of America. If you don't have no hospitals, the nurses won't have nowhere to work.
That's right.
Do you know how many hospitals have been closed in this state, in this country? One of the biggest fights we had was just 5 miles from here, Muhlenberg.
All right.
Muhlenberg Hospital. That young man back there, Stephen Hatcher, he called me one day. He said, Larry, they getting ready to close Muhlenberg Hospital. I said, Steve, you need to organize a demonstration right now. And he did. And one of the fiercest struggles we ever had on hospital closures was there in Muhlenberg. We would have won that struggle if the people on the inside had just came to us like 6 months earlier, because they knew the hospital was gonna close. And come to us and said, look, they getting ready to close. If we had had 6 months, we probably could have saved Muhlenberg Hospital. Because the masses of people were mobilized.
Yes.
We had demonstrations every week.
That's
Every
right.
week.
Where we made the board, the New Jersey Board of Health, come and hold a hearing at Plainfield High School. The people packed it out.
Right.
That was one of our best organizing efforts.
That's right.
But we couldn't save the hospital.
Right.
But if we got enough money to send trillions for wars in Gaza, in Afghanistan, and all around the world, we got enough money to save hospitals in the United States.
All right.
We got enough money. But yes, I support it. Put that in your paper, Charlie. I know you write about that struggle. Let them know Larry Hamm supports their struggle. And I'm going to try and get down there to the picket line again before they ratify the contract. Yes, Joyce.
Yes, I'll make a statement real quick about this nurses standing by them. I was very, very disappointed in the Democratic Party that they did not stand up, picking up for those ladies. I was there with them and I spoke with them, and I thought it was very sad that the union strongly support the Democratic Party, and what they've done to those nurses was unconscionable. All right, now my two quick questions with that. First of all, I wanted to know why everyone just talks about the border. They don't talk about all these illegal people coming in on planes, these people overstaying their visas. We only talk about the border. There are a whole bunch of other people here that are close to that situation, but we're only doing the border.
Right.
All right, number two I want to ask about is, I've seen different allegations, stuff against Menendez. The last go round, and you made it through. So, what happened? Does he become in the race with you, Tammy, and Andy Kim if he gets past these allegations?
Well, his trial, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but his trial is scheduled for May, I was told. And the election is in June. June it's at the beginning of June. If the trial starts in May, it's likely that it will not be over before the primary. Now, Menendez, he can speak for himself, but Menendez has made it clear that he's not going to resign. What he has not made clear is if he's running for re-election. And I would bet money right now that he is going to run for re-election. I just noticed how combative he was in the press conferences and other places. And he probably thinks, I hate to make the comparison, he probably thinks like Trump, that he has more to gain by staying in the race than getting out of the race. That he might be in some type of bargaining position, whatever that might be. I'm not really clear on what that is, but just seeing how combative he's been up to this point. I mean, he's been indicted twice. I'm not talking about 18 and 23. He's been indicted twice this year. The first one was for corruption, and the second one was for conspiring to be a foreign agent for Egypt.
Yes.
Now, he stepped down as chair of the Foreign Relations Committee, but he did not step down from the Foreign Relations Committee itself. He's still sitting on the Foreign Relations Committee. I think he should step down from the Foreign Relations Committee, and I think he should resign from the Senate of the United States. But
Does he have a strong base of saying,
well, that's something that needs to be explored. I was surprised. I'm not a political expert. I'm just a street corner agitator. But I was surprised to see that the Hudson County Democratic Party organization has already endorsed Tammy Murphy. I was surprised to see that. I thought they would at least remain silent,
We should have a say.
you know, because he was their guy. But no, the state chairman has already endorsed Tammy Murphy, the Hudson County Democratic Organization, which is his his Democratic Party organization. They did not endorse him, so, you know, he does, I mean, I don't know how he's gonna spend his money, but it's reported that he has $7 million in his campaign fund, so he can make a campaign. But my money is at this point on, he's probably gonna stay in the race. So it's gonna be a crowded race. If he's in it, Tammy Murphy is in it, Andy Kim is in it, I'm in it, that's 4. And then, sister, what's sister's name? No, Bonnie Watson says she's not running.
Mikey?
Yeah, that's in the New Jersey Globe this week. She says she's staying out of the race. This is the Puerto Rican sister,
Yvonne,
Patricia Campos. Thank you. Patricia Campos Medina. She says she may throw her hat in the ring. So that would be 5 if she throws her hat in the ring. Then there was the woman that ran against Menendez in 18. I haven't heard that she announced, but she's been posting advertisements on social media. That's Lisa McCormick.
she's professional candidate.
So it could be a pretty crowded field. The last time I ran, it was only me and Corbin, Senator Cory Booker. But you know, it's going to be interesting. The party is already lined up behind the governor's wife, the state chairman. So Menendez, you know,
The party, but what about the people?
well,
Or
the
you
people,
telling me all that heads?
the people are here.
No, what I'm trying to say is that the people all up here in these positions,
Right.
in those positions, it does not mean that the people.
No, it's a fight. It's a fight. We gotta fight. We gotta fight. That's why I'm running. I didn't drop out when I heard that the woman who was a millionaire, husband is the governor, is running. I didn't drop out. I am in this to the end. I am in this. You heard, Charlie? For your article, I am not gonna quit this race. I am in
There
this.
you go.
And when we win, I'll be in it till November. And then check. What's your name?
Justin Mark.
Jesse. Okay.
I'm from Patterson, born and raised, and I wanted to ask you about your ideas on federal housing reform. I grew up in Patterson. We had a very famous housing project, the Alabama Project.
Right.
And for the longest time throughout American history, especially after the 50s, housing has been about segregation.
Right.
Projects were about cramming black and brown bodies into a building and separating them from white folks. So what is your idea, not only to make public housing better, but to reform it to be something that benefits everyone?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, the foundation of my position on housing is that housing is a human right. Housing is not, should not be just another profit center. Right. We have privatized housing in this country, and that's really the root of the housing crisis that we're experiencing right now. The federal government was in the business of housing for some time, from the New Deal until the Reagan era. Right, until Reagan basically got us out. You know, there are a few housing projects left around the country, but it's nothing like it was, let's say, the way it was at the end of World War II. But by the time we got to the 1970s, I know a lot of people were saying the public housing was a disgrace too. We need subsidized housing in this country. We need public housing in this country. And it has to be reformed, and we have to make it a priority. And as a senator, I will put that, I mean, it's right here. It's on the leaflet. Affordable housing, right? It's right there on the leaflet. The leaflet has the basic platform planks on it. Because as the gentleman said in New York City, the rent is too damn high. And we have to reform. No one should be homeless, and everyone should have a decent place to live in this country. This country is rich enough to provide that.
You're right.
But it's gonna take, see, this is why I'm saying we have to build a movement. Because I could stand here and say, I want everything that y'all want. I will fight for everything that y'all want. But that's just one person. We gotta build a movement. Yes, we gotta send Larry Hamm to the Senate and other people to office. But if you think these changes that we want are gonna happen just through legislation, that's not the way it's gonna happen. We have to build a movement to pressure this government in no uncertain terms. For housing, for jobs, you know, People's Organization for Progress, we talk about the anniversary of Rosa Parks. Several years ago, we had a 381-day campaign for jobs, housing, equality, and justice. We protested every day for 381 days against the budget cuts that were going to be made to all those social programs at the time. And I think looking back at the Montgomery bus boycott and looking at that, that's the kind of sustained action that we need. I'm really sorry that Bernie Sanders is not running again. But here's the thing, when Jesse Jackson ran in 84 and 1988, I had always hoped that Jesse was going to keep running. Because we need a presidential candidate that is going to carry this platform forward. That's not happening in 2024. We don't have a presidential candidate. But you do have a Senate candidate.
A lot of people know who I am, Joy Anderson. I was the president of the Nurses Union at University Hospital for about 10, 15 years before the University. But maybe if Robert Wood Johnson would take some of that money they stole from University Hospital, they could afford to pay their bills. And Larry, I want to thank you for all the work that Pop has done in keeping those doors open at University Hospital.
Thank you.
Nobody knows better than Bruce how much that is dear to me. But my question, because I get confused easily. So I'm a little confused about the issue of perinatal care. Now, I've only worked in it for 20 years. So I'm a little confused on how you say you're for perinatal and infant mortality and morbidity rates to increase, to decrease, when you're closing the doors of University Hospital.
Yes.
Putting the pediatrics department.
Got it.
So, I'm confused how your husband, the governor, was in bed with Rutgers, Robert Wood Johnson, and St. Barnabas, and what they're doing to Muhlenberg. I live in Plainfield. I'm not as concerned, that's that issue. My issue is what's gonna happen to University Hospital in Newark, the only state hospital. The only state hospital in New Jersey. And all that money is either going up to South Orange or to New Brunswick. Bruce knows how much I fought with the NAACP about this.
Yes.
And I'm so glad we have a lot of representatives here. We got Mark, who's stigma-free. He did that initiative, and my North Plainfield people.
Yes.
But we got you.
Okay.
Because when it comes to perinatal, I heard Natalie wrote you on the phone, on your phone call, I was there, but I'm here today.
Thank you.
And I want to know what somebody who's not a healthcare professional, not a lawyer, not a policymaker, what she's done. Because there was a little drug addict named Rosemary Johnson, back in 1992. And she stood up and she campaigned about HIV and how black women could not take HIV. And she convinced me to go to this doctor named Arlene Bartiquez to come out with the cocktail along with James Alesky and Patricia Closer. And they came up with the cocktail to curtail some of the transmission of AIDS from mother to baby. Now that's what they did. And there was a program called Health Star, started by black women back in the 80s, not to mention MIC. So I want to know what one person did more than these black women
What'd she do?
to help black women, and I'm a black woman, so I'm offended, and I want to know who said that. I'm offended because I know in my 40 years of helping black women,
What'd she do?
I want to.
Okay. Well, I think you answered the question. And we will continue to fight. We've been fighting for university, and we're going to continue to fight for university. Let's take one more question, and then we'll take two more. One, two, last two. 1, 2, 3. Last three questions. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to know what the issue with warehouse sprawl in the state of New Jersey.
Say that again. I didn't.
Warehouse sprawl, the increase of warehouses being built in communities. I've been a plaintiff of one of the lawsuits here in Piscataway.
Right.
And I know that $10 billion was put behind one township to stop warehouse sprawl in their area. I wanted to know what your position would be on that. And it's not just warehouse sprawl, it's being more environmental justice, I guess
Right.
the issue is for me. I've never been a tree hugger. I'm from Newark too, so when I moved to Piscataway, I began to appreciate the beauty of nature and the impact that it has on us coexisting as, people.
Right.
So seeing these changes shift in this town alone from a suburban sprawling community with preserved land to one that's burgeoning with thousands of warehouses that are actually in these locations without benefit to the residents, nor is it done to the fact that it's environmentally safe. In addition to that, it's a pilot program, so they get on these tax breaks, and we're bearing the load at Piscataway Township for warehouses as well as Rutgers University, so.
Well, this certainly would be an issue that would involve local, state, and federal governments. But whatever federal laws that we can look at and tighten up, because you cited one aspect of the problem, which is environmental impact. This is a serious problem. So that's one area that we could possibly use as a bulwark against these big box. This has been a problem for a long time.
Of course, yeah.
These big box stores and these big warehouses, especially like these Amazon warehouses.
Planning and zoning issues.
So I would support legislation to tighten up regulations to try to slow down, if not stop, this warehouse sprawl. 2.
Okay.
Yes, 2.
Well, I'm Dr. Prince Ezeki Adekoya.
Oh, Dr. Adekoya.
Good evening, sir.
All right.
Very well. And I'm the founder of African Diaspora for Justice. Mr. Larry Hamm, knowing you for a while and working with you and understanding what you believe in and what you want to see when it comes to justice, I looked through the handout before me, and there's something of concern that I haven't seen on this paper right here. It could have been an oversight, or it might be my fault not reading right or not understanding. Could you please make me understand your position when it comes to reproductive women issue, or your stance on Roe and Wade?
He might not have been in the room, or maybe he disagrees with my position. But I just want to make clear my position so that everybody's clear.
Thank you.
I support women's right to safe and legal abortion.
Great.
I mean, I gotta say it straight.
That's right,
I'm not just
that's
gonna
right.
say.
That's right, that's right.
I gotta say it, like, what are we talking about?
That's
Abortion.
Abortion.
Yes.
Women have a right to safe and legal abortion. They have a right to have control over their own bodies.
Right.
Period. Full stop.
That's it. Thank you so much.
All right, Cynthia.
really solid industry.
Yes.
Is that something that you would do something to slow them down or to?
I'm going after the NRA. Why would we go after the NRA? Because the NRA is been the most aggressive in terms of opposing any gun reform in this country whatsoever. They are in part responsible for the proliferation of weapons in this country today, particularly weapons of mass destruction, automatic assault rifles. We had a ban on those in the late 1990s. But what happened was the Republicans got control of Congress and the law sunset and they did not renew the law. And we saw an automatic, it's not even like we had to do years of study, automatic increase in the number of shootings to the point now that the United States of America, has more mass shootings than any other country on the face of the earth. It's again, I mean, it's grotesque. It's not bizarre. It's grotesque. There have been more mass shootings than there have been days in the year this year. I think we're up to 500, over 500 mass shootings. And we have to put an automatic assault weapons ban back in place. But it won't happen just by electing one person. We have to, number one, get control of Congress, of the House in particular, because they control the House now. They don't control the Senate, but it's a very slim margin in the Senate. But we gotta get the House back. And then we gotta, I hate to say this, we gotta force the Democrats to do the right thing. Because it's not just Republicans, there are conservative Democrats. People think Democrats and they think like all Democrats. Do you think I'm like all other Democrats? If you do, then don't vote for me. If you think I'm like all other Democrats, don't vote for me. In the Democratic Party, there's left, there's right, and there's center. And there's a whole right-wing group of Democrats that get money, lots of money from the NRA. So I will support gun reform. The other thing we have to do, and this is going to take some doing, the way that the Sackler family was held accountable for the drug addiction crisis, the opiate addiction crisis in this country, we should make the families that own these gun companies accountable in the same way. Accountable in the same way. See the way they making the Sacklers pay? They making them pay. I mean, like, the first payment wasn't the people have gone back to court. And they got it. And they got the money. But in the same way, if the Sackler family can be held accountable for the impact of the drugs that their companies have produced, then the families and major stockholders in the gun companies, gun manufacturers should be held accountable in the same way. There are no gun manufacturing companies in Piscataway, in Plainfield, in Newark, in Trenton, in Atlantic City. And they're just pumping these weapons out. There are more weapons than people in the United States. There's 335 million people. There's 1.5 weapons for every person in this country. And those are the legally held weapons. The other thing we have to do more drug interdiction at our borders, drug and gun interdiction at our borders, and intrastate interdiction. Like, we know, they know where these guns are coming from in New Jersey. They coming up 95. They coming over 80. but we'll spend more time trying to arrest people for peacefully protesting than we will trying to stop these guns at state and national borders. Is that your only question? Cheo, you pushing the envelope.
100 years ago.
People are walking around, they're trying to signal you. Go ahead.
100 years ago, we were arguing about, oh, not us, but society was arguing about the Thompson machine gun.
That's right.
The Tommy gun. The first assault weapon of its type that was developed for the Army for the First World War. It never hit Europe, but it hit the streets of America.
Wow.
The government brought it under control because civilians were being killed. We can do the same thing today.
You
We just
can't
need the
own
will
a
to do it.
You can't own a Tommy gun today.
That's right.
That's right. Brothers and sisters, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight.
Run, Larry, run! Run, Larry, run! Run, Larry, run! Run, Larry, run!
Before you leave, I hope that you will fill out a volunteer form or sign a list. We need help to win. We need you to set up other events. We need you to help get petitions signed, and we need money. So please hit that link, make a contribution, sign up to help us get petitions distributed, and organize events like this very fine one tonight here in North Carolina. Thank you very much, brother.